I spent a month trying to do game development work on Upwork, and I thought it would be a good video to share with you what the experience was like. And I think I'll cover a couple of different things, like what is Upwork, why I decided to try Upwork, how much money I made, if any, on Upwork, what I think of Upwork in general. So yeah, let's jump right in. Firstly, if you don't know, Upwork is a freelancing platform. How it works is people just post a bunch of different jobs on here and you can apply using things called connects. So connects are Upwork's internal kind of currency. And when people post jobs, then you can spend a certain number of your connects to bid on these jobs. So here we've got a mobile game tester. And they want you to record 100 levels per game. Hectic. And then so they'll post a whole bunch of information about what they want you to do, and then they'll give you a budget. Okay, so in this case there is no budget. They haven't given one, but you can see how many proposals there are currently in place. And if I wanted to apply, so let's click this apply button, then I could apply for a job here. And I would have to offer some kind of rate. So I've set my profile rate to $25 per hour, but we'll jump into whether you actually ever get the rate that you're looking for in a minute. So that's one example. Sometimes the jobs do have budgets. A lot of them do actually. Like here, create C# examples for new open source web application frameworks. So this is not game dev, it's just C#. And for context, I am a professional software developer and I am a game developer as well. But if we look at this posting, there is an estimated budget of $1,000. And there's currently 5 to 10 proposals, and this was posted within an hour. It was posted about an hour ago. So that just gives you a sense of how many people apply to these job postings. It's a lot generally. Now, before I get into why I tried to do this, I just wanted to share with you a project we've been working on called Autigma. It is an automated indie game marketing platform. It lets you upload full-length gameplay videos, and it will go ahead and find some interesting, more social media-ready clips for you to post. It also gives you caption and title suggestions and allows you to automatically schedule these to your social media platforms. So if this sounds like something that's interesting to you, check it out. It's completely free to get started. You can find out more at autigma.com. So why did I try to do Upwork in the first place? Well, there's a couple of reasons. Firstly, we all know the job market is a little bit slack right now. And a part of me is just a bit stressed out that maybe things are not looking good in the software development and game development space. So I wanted to test that theory by seeing whether I could land any jobs and make a living on a platform like Upwork, because I don't really have any intention of going back to working a normal 9-to-5. That just doesn't suit me and the kind of lifestyle I'm looking to live. So that is the biggest reason I decided to do it, was just to see if I can make any money doing something like this on a platform like this. Okay, so I've already kind of showed you what the job listings look like. And now the thing with Upwork is I had 100 connects available because I had created this profile a long time ago. Currently, you can see here I have 69 connects. But the thing about applying for jobs on here is that you need to come in here, click apply now and submit a proposal, right? So beyond just typing an hourly rate and deciding how much you would want to earn for this, you also need to write a cover letter, which is often quite an intense thing to do because you need to write a cover letter specifically for this job and how you plan on achieving the targets they're looking for you to achieve. So it can be really time consuming, and it's a little bit disheartening. Okay, it's a lot disheartening because you submit these proposals and a lot of the times people don't even look at the proposals. So it's a bit of a mission, especially at first when you don't have any reputation on Upwork to get started. So my first gig, the first gig that I found, I can't really show you the details about it because I signed an NDA. But the first gig that I applied for was, and just to put into context, I was only applying for game development jobs because that's really what I wanted to do. And yeah, I was just looking for game dev stuff. So the first job that I actually managed to land came after submitting. I had used all of my connects. So I had 100 connects. I was bidding about probably between 15 and 20 per job proposal. And the first one that I landed was a guy looking for a small prototype. Again, I can't give too much information away on the specifics of the project. I'm not sure why, though. It wasn't anything special. But anyway, so he had listed the job for $400. And looking at it, I remember thinking, okay, I think this job will probably take about 2 weeks to complete. So if we were to do some simple math here, so 2 weeks at 8 hours a day, let's say that's 8 hours times 5 for 1 week. So multiplied by 2, that's 80 hours total that it would take. So if at the full price, right, we have $400 divided by 80 hours that it would take to complete this, you'd be earning $5 an hour at this for this project rate, which is like super low. Essentially not really enough to make a proper living and pay your bills. But because I had no reputation, I was just like, well, okay, I'm gonna bid on this project at $200. So I came in at literally half price. So if we took 200 divided by the 80 hours it would take, it's literally $2.50 that I would have been earning to complete this project. But I figured, all right, this is more of an investment because I just want to build some reputation on Upwork. So I applied, and almost immediately I got a response, which was like the first time, because after the first 10, I hadn't received any responses. So this guy almost immediately responded, and he was like, okay, how long do you think this will take you? And I said, I think it will take 2 weeks. And he was like, okay, cool, let's do it. I'm in. So another big thing about this is that each of the proposals that you submit, you can attach things, your portfolio essentially. So you can attach different games you've worked on. So I often would attach my my websites. So let me just show you. So my company name is Lighthearted Tech. So I would show this, and in here I've got all of the games that I'm working on, and this kind of stuff, and all of the things I've worked on is in here. And if they were looking for specific things like mobile games, then I would show them the mobile specific games I've worked on, that kind of thing. So you can get a sense of what the portfolio that I would submit with each of these things looks like. So I would like to think that that kind of helped convince this guy to say yes. And the fact that I literally bid half the price. So my experience level would be that I have over 10 years of software development experience, including game development. So I think it was pretty attractive. And so that was cool. I did that project. It took me a bit quicker. So I think I finished it in about a week. But I worked more hours than 8 a day. If I think back to my timesheet, I log, because I keep track of all of the time I spend on all of this stuff, which is very important, I think. But I think I logged about, I think it was probably like 50 hours. So if we did some math there again, I earned $200 and spent about 50 hours on it. So $4, about $4 an hour, which was not great, but from that project, he did give me a 5-star review. And then after that first project, that same client was like, hey, that was really cool. Thanks for the work. Do you want to do another project? And so because I had worked with him on the first one, I was like, yeah, let's do it. I'm in. So the second project was now, he had said a similar thing. He wants to prototype this game. The only difference was this time it would be slightly networked. So there was some Firebase stuff involved, and you would have to do some authentication and pull in some data from Firebase, which I'm comfortable with. I've done a lot of that in my software development experience. So I was like, fine, let's do it. He had set the original project budget to $250. But that project the scope creep was intense. And maybe this is just because of my inexperience as a freelancer in general. But the tasks just kept piling on. It got to a point where eventually I literally had to argue with the guy and say to him, like, look, I'm spending way more time on this than is worth. And eventually from that project, I earned, I think, about $500. So again, it would have been about like $2 or $3 an hour. And I think the problem with that project was that the client wasn't actually sure of what they wanted. It kind of just felt like a guy who's trying to develop a game as he goes, and he's not 100% sure. So at the beginning of the project, I said to him, like, do you have a design document, a game design document? And he said, he's got a basic one. So I was like, okay, maybe we should start by fleshing that out. And then we did that. We built out a game design document, but then he kept adding things in. And a game design document is meant to be a living document. That's cool. But it was completely branching off from what the original spec was. And eventually it became this whole, he wanted it to be like a massively multiplayer, almost real-time simulation kind of game. Again, I signed an NDA, so I can't give you too much information on it. But that was essentially what he wanted. And by the end of it, I said to him, like, look, this is what I can do for you. I'm going to get it to a certain point. And then at some point, I think he realized that this project was getting too intense and there was too much that still needed to be done. So he canceled the project. He still paid me, which was cool. And he still gave me a 5-star review. So that was really helpful. But it scarred me. So, and my month-long experience experiment had completed. So in that time, over the period of a month, I earned just over $700, but I think I spent more than a month's worth of hours on it. I mean, where I'm at right now is that I think it's useful to have a portfolio on Upwork. I'm glad that I did that I did this experiment. I'm glad that I have a rising talent badge and that I'm getting invitations for jobs, because if things get really tough and I really need to look for more money, then at least Upwork is a revenue stream that I can look to take advantage of. My feeling on Upwork as a whole, though, is that the platform kind of feels a bit predatory. Like, these connects, everything, like, look at the way that they talk about these connects. Boosted proposals, right? So that means you can boost your proposal by giving them more connects. So Upwork is trying to sell to you connects as the freelancer. They want you to buy connects. Everything that they talk about, buy more connects. Here, 100 monthly connects and full access if you buy Freelancer Plus, which is their subscription thing. And then on top of just the connects, they take a cut of every job. I can't remember how much it is, but they'll take a cut of what you earn. Well, I think they tell you. So, like, let's see, right? So if let me show this. So if we go here and we say apply for a job, and you say 25 hours, then you pay a 10% freelancer service fee. So that means that Upwork sells you connects. They want you to buy the connects, and then they still take a freelancer service fee from every one of the jobs that you complete. Doesn't seem like too much in this case, but if you're charging like $2,000 for a project, then they're going to take $200 just like that for a freelancer fee, and they still charge you for buying connects and things. Also, the thing about connects is you get a certain amount of them. Even on your subscription, you get 100 monthly connects or whatever. And then if you submit a proposal, your connects are gone. Even if the client who posted the job listing doesn't look at your proposal, not even opens your proposal, your connects are gone. And you don't get them back, which is wild. So there's no punishment for the guys who post these jobs. They can just post them, but you're punished for applying by the use of your connects. And a lot of these jobs end up never being fulfilled. Like, if you look at them, then most of the time you'll see like 0% like hire rates on a lot of the jobs. And you've applied for them. I've looked at ones that I applied for at the beginning, like right at the beginning, and they still have no hires. So there's no punishment for the guys who post the jobs. You as the freelancer just get punished, and then you have to keep buying connects if you want to keep doing this. And look, I followed the subreddit for a while, and a lot of people are like, yeah, well, if you're making enough money on Upwork, then connects is a small investment. Buying more connects is a small investment to keep your whole Upwork career going. But if you're getting started, it feels really rough, honestly. So overall, I don't really think I like the platform. I would use it if I was in a pinch, which is kind of why I think it's somewhat predatory. Is it's preying on that, on the fact that you're looking at freelancers who are probably a little bit desperate for work. You're competing with guys from all over the world. They use Africa as an example. So if you've got good software developers where the cost of living is lower, like in South Africa or in India, for example, then people from America, where the dollar is stronger than the currency of these countries, you have the buying power. You can say, okay, $100 project for a guy in India or South Africa is probably worth it, but for you, if you're living in America, then it's not worth it. So it's also that, like, they take advantage of that fact. So I mean, obviously I have a lot of feelings about this. Again, to conclude, I'm glad I have an Upwork profile, and I'm glad I have some reputation on here now, and I would like to think that has some pull when I apply for things in future, if I ever do again. So I would use it, not because I like it, but because if I was desperate, I would have a platform that I could at least get started on.